Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's product briefing session on the Aptem Help Centre enhancements. We'll just give it a few more moments whilst everyone else joins the session, and then we'll get the webinar underway. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our webinar on the latest Aptem Help Centre enhancements. Before we proceed, I'll take you through our usual housekeeping slide. First of all, we will be recording this session and uploading the recording to the Aptem Help Centre, so please feel free to share this with your colleagues. You are muted throughout the session, so if you do need assistance, please use the questions function in the right-hand panel. If you also have any questions regarding the content of this session, please use the questions function and we will go through these towards the end of the session should we have time. So today's session will be run by Faraaz Mohiuddin, Technical Author at Aptem, and Shruti Natrajan, Implementation Associate. Faraaz has been with Aptem for over 4 years. He has worked with various IT companies, primarily contributing to the technical, writing, and e-learning departments. Shruti has been with Aptem for almost 3 years and brings a strong understanding of the vocational sector, combined with over 10 years of experience working with SaaS products. Taking you through the agenda for today's session, we will be covering navigating and using the updated Help Center effectively, utilizing the support ticket system for prompt assistance, customizing notifications by following articles tailored to your needs, and introducing your new Help Center chatbot assistant for 24/7 support and seamless ticket creation, which is now available for Support Seat Superusers on Essentials, Pro, and Enterprise packages. So I'm going to pass this over to Faraaz now.
Thank you, James, and good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining the session today. My name is Faraaz, and I work with the product team in Aptem, and I've been here, talking about the Help Center. I've been here since the beginning, and for those of you who are familiar with the Help Center, we've recently made some changes to the way it looks, and so we just thought we'd have chat with you folks about the changes we've made and how far we've come in our journey. So I'm going to be talking about a few items. The first thing is visual enhancements in the new Help Center and the navigation and structural changes, and a few bits around content enhancement, and just a look at some of the improvements we've planned going forward. So can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah, so the first major change is the homepage. Obviously, we've moved away from a strict persona driven to these three main categories. In terms of the way it looks, it's meant to be visually aligned with our brand guidelines. And if you look at the Aptem site, aptem.co.uk, it now very closely aligns to the Help Center site. So we've gone with the approach to have three high-level categories, and obviously each category has its own type of articles. The knowledge base is your go-to resource for all product documentation, detailed guides, frequently asked questions, and then within the knowledge base, you have still a persona-driven approach where you can find things based on your persona. And then apart from the knowledge base, we have the getting started section, which is a good place to begin if you're new to Aptem. And so we just added this as a feature. And so if you're setting things up for the first time, or if you have somebody who's joined in and maybe they need a refresher, this section has the right step-by-step instructions to get set up with Aptem and get it to run smoothly. The third item is the announcements, which is the most famous category, I would say, is the most read. Obviously, it has updates about the latest product release notes and the webinars, and folks usually use it to um, just stay updated about what's going on with the product. So these are the three main items on the homepage, and then apart from that, you have obviously you also have a manage cookies section we've added, which also aligns to our Aptem site. So if we could go to the next slide, I just talk about a few. Um, Next slide, please. I think we skipped one. Uh, Sorry. Just at the high level, we have three categories, and then we also have this promoted articles, which was an addition based on the new theme. So the way we've updated our Help Center, we've made a couple of major changes. We have updated our Zendesk plan to have a couple of additional features, which are useful for us both on the support side as well as the documentation side. And then we've also changed the theme, which just gives us some additional options. The theme being more mobile friendly and more modular, and it has a lot of customization options which are really useful to what we want to do going forward. And so we also have promoted articles which we keep updating. So for example, right now you see the May 2025 release notes in the list of promoted articles. So as we have latest webinars added, we just keep updating this. This is just to help you uh, help communicate what's the latest. And so the main item is the three categories, and within categories you have sections. So James, if we can go to the next slide. This is how the sections look within a category. So we're looking at getting started. So within getting started, we have 4 sections, and you can see all of those sections have articles. You can click directly onto an article, or you can click onto a section to just look at all the articles within that. So getting started right now is a thin section because we're just focused on putting the most important things right there. Knowledge base is obviously the bulky one, and announcements is just around the updates and webinars. So can we just go to the next section? Sorry, slide. So inside a section, based on the new plan we also have the capability of having subsections, which was not the case earlier. So for example, right now we are looking at the technical section under the knowledge base category. So again, you have a few options here. You have subsections. And so from a point of view of somebody who is following the Help Center, you can just click follow in any of the sections to be updated about any changes happening within that section. Or if there's a specific thing that you want to follow, you can drill down to the subsection and then click follow, and that way you're subscribed to everything that gets updated within that section. Can we have the next slide, please? So inside a subsection, again, you can have based on our requirement for the sections or just articles. So this is an example where you can see the navigation there. The Help Center, we went to the knowledge base category, the technical section, and then OData is the subsection here. And then if you click follow on this page, you're just updated whenever there's a new article around accessing OData. So usually we don't have a lot of new articles coming in. We just have updates to existing articles mostly. But yeah, with this whole restructure thing, we have taken the opportunity to clean up our structure and just organize everything better so that it's useful for end users. Can we go to the next slide, please? So in terms, we've looked at some changes to the visual elements and some changes to the navigation and structure. In terms of content, we've also started refining things. And then one of the items that comes with the new plan that we have is content verification. So we have the ability to set some rules based on which the content verification alerts come up for us when we are working with articles. So they're based on a couple of things, based on how long back the article was authored or last edited, and then based on support tickets, which is obviously very useful for us because it lets us know um, what are the items, what are the pain points that people are still raising tickets on, which means there is a potential gap in documentation around that area. So we've started using the content verification based on rules, and then um, we've also added information around packages or tiers. As you know, we've shifted to um, we have a couple of different tiers or packages in Aptem based, and then the documentation and the functionality would slightly differ based on which package you're on. So we've tried to add that. We've started adding information to all articles around which particular package this article is relevant to, and I'll show you the screen in a moment. And apart from that, we've also added some accordions, which goes back, I think, a few months, but it's really something to enhance the content and the way we present it. So if you can just look at the next slide, James, just two examples. Um, the image on the left shows, um, the packaging information. So for example, this article is relevant only to those who have subscribed to the Aptem Enterprise package, and it's not relevant to the Essentials and Pro. And similarly, we have articles which are applicable to two or all three packages. So we're in the process of adding this information to all our articles, which makes it easier for you to look at them and judge whether this is relevant to your use case. And then the image on the right is an example of a release notes page, and we know from the analytics that the release notes is the most viewed page. So just based on how much content there is, we've tried to simplify it by using accordions and just dividing the content into these three categories: featured updates and minor updates, and then upcoming items. Um, so just an example of article level enhancements that we are working on. And then if you can go to the next slide, James. So apart from article level structural changes, we've also started working on better readability. We have started tracking some of our articles which are the most read for the way for readability scores, because it's a good measure for us to keep track of how well we're doing on that and if we're getting better. We also have invested some time in putting together a style guide just to ensure that the stuff we put out is consistent, and then it also complies to our brand guidelines. And so if you look at the readability statistics here, there are many ways you can check readability. And what we've shortlisted is the Flesch-Kincaid scale. And so if you look on the readability part of this image, which is the score 50.8, since we started tracking it a few months back, we've moved from the mid 30s to 50. And so I think we have a target of 60, and so 60 plus. And so we are moving in that direction. Just to this slide is just to show that we are focusing on that as well. And this is something that's more of a continuous improvement, something that's started. If you go to the next slide, please. Going ahead, so these are a few things we've already implemented, and we've already seen some measure of success for these. So we've seen an increase in the number of views for the Help Center. And then going forward, obviously, we have a few more things planned. We have video content planned for some key articles, again, which are looked at the most. And then the video we're thinking of as something that gives you a good high-level overview of a particular article or a particular feature. And then the notes obviously still provide the detailed step-by-step guidance. So we're looking for video to just add a level, another way of putting information across on the Help Center. Apart from that, search is an item which would a bit of a pain point for most people using Zendesk, but we have a couple of initiatives where we are looking at how we enhance that, how we improve our search. Some of it is based on generative search, the kind of things that are uh, in the market now, AI generated answers. But yeah, this is something, the search filtering is something we're looking at, because we now have the option to add tags and labels to our articles. And if that helps you reach the right place just based on the search query, that will be very useful. Apart from that, we have a couple of different improvements planned. For example, alerts or banners for simple notifications within articles, previous and next buttons, which suit tutorial style sequential articles. And then, just as we looked at the accordions, we're looking at some callouts and some tabs just to help you navigate through the article and add some visual elements to that. And yeah, the accordions, we're just looking to expand to the sections. So for example, you have a section which has 10 articles. So we're looking to simplify some of those things. And the chatbot is one of the main items that we wanted to talk to you about today. And I would just hand over to Shruti at this point, who has been involved in making this work and developing this whole feature. So thank you from my side, and over to Shruti.
Thank you, Faraz, for walking us through the Help Center enhancement. It's really great to see the improvements, and certainly going to make it easier for our customers to find the support they need. Building on that, I'm excited to share the next big step that we've taken, the launch of our new support chatbot. Next slide, please. So let's start with why we built it. We know that waiting for answers, especially to simple questions, can be frustrating. So our goal here was clear: to provide faster and more accessible support, to reduce the wait times and empower better self-service, and ultimately to enhance your overall experience with us. So we've designed this with our Support Seat Champions in mind, across our Essentials, Pro and Enterprise packages. So if that's you, this is available now. Now, what makes it really useful? So let's take a quick look at some of the key features. It's smart available 24/7 to deliver instant answers using the most relevant Help Center content. If the chatbot can't solve it, you'll be seamlessly connected to a human agent with no repetition needed. And you also have access to the chat history, so you can refer back to past conversations anytime. It's fully integrated with our Help Center, so it's pulling information directly from the content that you already trust. We're really excited about how this helps streamline support and gives you more control over your time and experience. Next slide, please. So here's how the chat feature works. You click on the chat icon on the Help Center page, you start typing your question, and you'll receive instant help from the bot. So it's really as simple as that. With that, I'll jump straight into the demo, and as we go through, please feel free to drop your questions in the chat and we'll answer them as we go. We also have time at the end to address any questions. So if you need anything, just pop in the chat.
So here I am on the Help Center page. To get started, first log into the Help Center by entering your credentials on the screen. Once you've logged in, you'll notice the chatbot pops up from the bottom right-hand corner of the page. You can then expand or collapse this at any time. Just a quick note that the chatbot remembers your preference, so if you minimize it, it will stay minimized the next time you log in, and vice versa. So now you can type your question directly into the chat. It's best to be specific with your question and avoid general queries, as they may result in less accurate responses. For example, I'm going to type, how do I update my signature in my profile? So this kind of detailed question helps the chatbot gives you more precise and relevant answers. So as you can see, it takes a few minutes for the chatbot to process the question and respond. Following that, it provides a detailed step-by-step explanation on how to update your signature. If you scroll down to the bottom, you will see the articles chatbot reference to provide the answer, along with clickable links to those articles. For example, if I click on one of these links, it takes me directly to that specific article in the Help Center. Again, if you notice that at the bottom, there are two buttons, That Helped and Get More Help. So the That Help button lets the chatbot know that the answer it provided was helpful and that your issue is resolved. If you feel that the answer didn't fully address your question or you need further assistance, you can click the Get More Help button. When you do that, it will ask you to select the impact of the issue from a drop-down menu. After you choose the impact, it will ask the prevalence of the problem. Once you've provided this information, a support ticket is created and you'll receive a reference number for it. As you can see, the reference number is created immediately, showing how easy it is to create a ticket from here. If you go to the My Activities page, you'll find the newly created ticket listed there. So there's the ticket on the top. An agent will respond to the ticket just like any other ticket you raise from the Help Center. The agent will have the full history of the conversation, so you won't need to repeat yourself. If you want to add any additional information, you can include it here. Again, you can view the full history of conversations within the chatbot, making it easy for you to refer back to previous discussions. Again, if you have any further questions, you can press the Ask a Question button to continue the conversation. It's great to have that 24-bar support available to get quick answers whenever you need them. If you're a super user with a support seat and believe you don't have access to the chat, please reach out to your CSM and they'll be able to get you sorted. And with that, I'm just going to stop sharing.
We can go back to the slides, please. So before launching this more widely, we ran an early adopter program to test the new chatbot experience with a small group of customers. So the goal here was to gather real feedback, identify any usability issues, and make improvements where needed, all before rolling it out to everyone. So we selected a diverse group of customers and onboarded them with documentation and a short walkthrough. And from there, we closely monitored their interactions with the chatbot and asked for feedback through a survey, and the response was really positive. A few consistent themes stood out. Users found the chatbot to be fast and accessible, and they really appreciated how easy it was to create support tickets through it. Based on this feedback, we made some minor refinements to improve the user experience even further. And with that success in mind, we're confident this rollout will bring real value to everyone using the system. And we can jump straight into the questions. Do we have any questions at this point? I know we finished up a little ahead of time.
Yes, we have one question for you, Shruti. How does an individual get identified by Aptem as a super user so that they get the chatbot available to them?
So that is a really good question, and it's definitely something for them to discuss with their CSMs. So it would be a really good question to discuss with your CSM on how you can be a super user for your organization, and if you'd like to be flagged as a support seat champion with access to this chatbot. So it's definitely a question for this customer success manager.
Thank you. Just give it a couple more moments to see if any other questions come in. And in the meantime, I'll give it a few more moments for questions to come. I will just share with you a few of our upcoming webinars. So on Monday, the 2nd of June, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., we are running the funding rules webinar, Understanding the 25-26 Apprenticeship Funding Rules with David Lockhart Hawkins. Do encourage you to sign up for this. We currently have approximately 750 people registered for this session. So it's in high demand. So definitely one to join. On Tuesday, the 10th of June, we have Building a Seamless Apprenticeship Enrollment Process with Aptem. That's a customer training session for Aptem customers. And on Tuesday, 24th of June, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., we have practical Aptem tips to keep you R14 ready year round. Another excellent Aptem training session to join. And as we have no further questions, it's only right for me to sign this off by saying thank you very much, Shruti and Faraaz, for not only presenting today, but for taking the time to prepare for this session. It's been really informative, and from the feedback I can see now, customers have found this session really useful. So thank you. And again, thank you all for joining us today. Please look out for the recording in the Aptem Help Centre in the coming days. And I wish you a lovely rest of the week. Thank you all and have a good day.